Welcome to Speaking with the Senator. I'm Senator Kevin Avard, and you're watching a new episode. And today I have a special guest, a student from the town of Derry. And he's been pretty active in politics. And so I wanted him to come on the show. He has his own show in Derry, and he's a sophomore in high school. I guess they get out the 17th of June. But he's taken the time to come out here and give us a little perspective of what the youth are thinking about these days. So with that, Anthony Henry, welcome to Speaking with the Senator.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you're a sophomore?
Yep, I'm a sophomore at Pinkerton.
Pinkerton Academy. And
Yep.
so it's a good, nice little drive to come here. And you have your own show?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it in Derry's TV station.
Yep.
It's called America's Ass, and I've had a really good variety of guests on from both parties, and I've really enjoyed doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on break right now just for the summer, but in August or September we'll be getting back at it.
Yeah, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek type of name of a show, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You get some eyebrows when you get the...
Makes people click on it.
It sure does, apparently. Yeah, that's good. You probably get more clicks than I do. But yeah, so welcome to the show. A lot of things are happening these days, right? And you're paying attention.
I am, and I've gotten a lot of my peers to pay attention as well.
Yeah. And what got you interested in politics?
Well, I've always had a vague interest just because of how my family is. My family is very passionate about politics. My uncle, John, was city clerk in Revere, Massachusetts for 30 years. He's the only other political person besides myself, I guess. But everyone's, invested. I remember being 8 years old, seeing the news stuff about the 2016 election.
Wow.
My parents watching it. I don't remember too much. I just remember Trump, Clinton, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And, it just interested me. And I remember the midterms after that in 2018.
Right.
I remember my dad saying, hey, let's sit down and watch the results. I had no idea what was going on with the results, but I remember watching them.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit 2 years later. And COVID was the turning point that got me involved, really. Started, I was not happy about masks.
Right.
So I went to school board meetings. At that time, we had a not very good school board. We still don't. But I, spoke a few times about masks. A lot of my fellow passionate citizens of Derry spoke as well. We hammered them for over 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. And eventually they got rid of it. I actually spoke at the last meeting before they got rid of it. Couple weeks earlier, a teacher at Pinkerton, at West Runningbrook, I was in middle school at the time, she told a disabled kid to put their mask on and that she wouldn't negotiate with terrorists. Those were exact words. And I said that at the school board meeting, and all the members had wide open mouths. And then 4 days later, they lifted the mandate. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what happens when individuals speak up.
yeah, and that was my first. Well, I'd always been a little active, but that was my aha moment.
Yeah.
That I can easily get involved, and I can easily do stuff.
And it's just a matter of having the courage to do so.
Yeah,
Right.
And
Are you getting any backlash?
not really, no. I'm lucky because Derry is a fairly conservative area for the most part.
Right.
And the teachers, 99% of them keep their mouths shut.
Regarding politics.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely, I'll wear my Trump hat once in a while.
Yeah.
Because, all my classmates are pro-Trump as well.
Interesting.
Almost all of them. You'd actually be surprised with.
I would be.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of liberal students as well.
Yeah.
But, Pinkerton, where I go, that's Derry, Chester, Hampstead, Auburn, Hooksett, Candia. Not one blue town in those 6 towns.
I see.
So
Now, how's everybody treat everybody, though?
everyone treats everyone well for the most part. I've posted a few things where some of the people that disagree with me will make some remarks. I've actually had some stuff that I posted reposted by some liberal students, and they're trashing me, saying not so nice things.
But you're not bullying anybody. None of the Trump people are bullying.
Anytime I have something like that said to me, I'll just say, thank you for your input.
That, right. And being respectful.
Yep.
So a lot of things are happening up at the Capitol. Are you paying attention to that?
The State House?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So what's on your mind? What are you paying attention to? What's what's at the top of your interest?
Well, a couple things. There was the sports bill that came, women in sports bill.
Yeah.
Well, trans people in sports bill. I completely support what the Republicans in the Senate did.
Right.
We don't really have the problem at Pinkerton, but from what I've seen around the state,
When you say the problem, what problem?
that trans boys,
Biological males,
yes, that are competing in girls' sports,
female sports, right?
they're dominating, and that people could get hurt through that.
Right.
And it's a big problem, and it'll become an even bigger problem if we let it.
So one of the things with that bill, apparently, we're limiting biological males to biological male sports, biological females to biological females, but it's not restricting co-ed if they want that.
Yeah.
Right. And so if the schools want to have a co-ed team, that's fine, do it. But as far as females competing against females and a biological male coming in and taking the trophy, it's a situation where people are speaking up, and so you're not having that problem in if you will, in Pinkerton.
No,
Right.
but I have heard the stories on the Seacoast
Yeah.
and stuff like that where it is a problem, and obviously nationwide.
Right. Yeah, and so that's an interesting topic, and it's really heartfelt. A lot of people whispering in my ear. Some people are afraid to speak up because they don't want to get bullied by the LGBT groups, because apparently they do shout you down. They recently were up at the Capitol shouting in the halls and trying to intimidate the governor.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, and whose side you on, stuff like that. They were chanting outside. Then they came in the halls and they lined up the entire halls all the way from the Senate chambers to the Secretary of State. And while they were having executive session in the governor's council room, and trying to intimidate the governor. But that being said, people have a right to speak, but you wonder who's really doing the bullying. They're accusing individuals of bullying them, but they have no problem shouting you down if you disagree with them. But so that's one topic. What's another one?
There's the marijuana bill. That.
So you want marijuana?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm on your side, don't worry. But that is a problem at Pinkerton.
Okay.
We're
not going to name any names, right?
No,
Yeah.
but I will say that I know a lot of people that do it.
Already.
Yes.
So making it legal does what?
It'll give more access.
Yeah. That's what some of the studies are pointing out, is the fact that in the areas where it is legal, youth increase up to 22%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pinkerton has much more than marijuana. I don't know that it was true per se, but there was a rumor that last year one of the bathrooms was shut down for a week, and it was because of cocaine. And I saw some pictures of a white powdery substance on the sink.
Oh.
I don't necessarily know that that's true. I was not in that bathroom, and I'm not,
But it could be anything.
Yeah, could be anything.
It could be cocaine, fentanyl. It could be anything.
No matter what it was, there shouldn't be any drugs in school.
Yeah,
and
it's-
and weed, it's a gateway drug.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of the weed can be laced with fentanyl and stuff, and wherever they're getting it, obviously somebody must be going across the border. They can get it locally, no matter what. We've always had a black market on that. So that's an interesting bill. We killed the House bill, and now there's 1633, which is the Senate version, basically amended the House bill, and it has a lot of new restrictions on it. 15 stores. Department of Liquor Commission will basically run it if it goes through, and lobbyists won't be able to lobby on that. There are a host of issues, and apparently a lot of people in the House aren't really happy with that. So we'll see if it'll pass, because it's in committee of conference right now.
One thing I did notice with that bill, the Republicans in the House seemed mostly divided about it.
Yeah.
How come it's not that divided with the Senate Republicans?
Oh, don't think that it's not. Of course it is. It's definitely there's only 5 Republicans voted for it.
Last year I thought it was only 1.
Only maybe last year, but this year 5 5 Republicans voted for legalizing marijuana.
Okay.
A number of us did not. At least 9 of us didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I think I don't think it's the panacea that everybody thinks it's going to be. It's not going to be the cash cow, big money draw that everybody's expecting. You know, I mentioned on another show that Massachusetts says, well, they're making a lot of money. Well, where is it? Has it lowered your property taxes? No, it hasn't, and it won't. It will not lower your property taxes. It will not lower anything. It's just going to be a.
We had a town councilor in Derry for a while named Josh Borden, who's a great guy. He actually ran for Senate in 2020 against Senator Birdsell, but he's a great guy. I get along with him well, but he is a Democrat, and when he was on the council, when he was chair of the council, he pushed for that. He wanted it to be legalized, and he wanted to attract a dispensary to Derry.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is already a problem at Pinkerton when it's illegal.
Right.
I can only imagine.
When it's legal, there'll be an increase, and there'll be metrics to study it to see what the increase is, especially with the youth. I really think it'll explode. At least nationwide, it has gone up 22%. So that can't be a good thing. Drinking at a young age, it's not a good thing. It isn't. Do people do it? Yeah, of course they do. Who doesn't raid their parents' liquor cabinet? A lot of kids have done that. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it good. It's still illegal for them to drink under 21 because it can open up a door where the early drinking does lead to alcoholism.
Yeah.
So that being said, so you get the marijuana, you get the biological males in sports. What's another thing that's on your mind?
Well, EFAs.
What does EFA stand for?
Education Freedom Account.
Okay. Just most people don't know that. They only the people that are paying attention. But when the audience hears EFA, what's EFA? Yeah. What is that? Education Freedom Account. So why is that an interest to you?
I am the student member of Derry School Board. Mm-hmm. So I see, every other Tuesday, I see my school board in action. Mm-hmm. And we have a major problem with Derry's school system. I'm not with our education. I think, as a product of the Derry school system, I think we have amazing teachers. I think our curriculum could definitely use some work. I'm not trying to offend any of my classmates, but a lot of them are incredibly stupid. And
okay. How could they take offense to that?
Well, I think it stems with some of the curriculum, the Common Core stuff.
But that doesn't mean they're stupid.
I think it starts with, how they're brought up at home, and it also has to do with the education at school. And I think our curriculum needs an overhaul. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the reason so many people have been going to these private schools. And I think, people need the freedom to do that.
So they're not educated, is what you're.
They're not being educated properly.
Right. Stupid that's a tough word because there's some kids that learn differently.
That's true.
Yeah, I was one of them. So believe it, I definitely was, but still am. Some people do learn differently, and curriculum is an important issue.
Yeah.
You want logic, Latin. Greek, those things were taught at early ages, years and years ago. 8th grade education was considered, by today's standards, possibly a high school graduation. They were educating differently years ago, and it does seem as though a lot of distractions are out there, and a lot of reasons why we need choice in schools. So EFA is basically, there's a bill that would fund it at 400% of poverty versus 500% of poverty, giving middle-class individuals more of a chance to send their kid to a private school. It's not just for the rich, right? Yeah. So it originally was set out there so that kids that were in the poverty level, given the opportunity to go to BG or the private schools where they are getting, in most people's opinion, a much better education. I know that, I was one of those kids that was just pushed along. I really was pushed along. And I was eventually given the ability to go to Tabernacle Heritage Christian School years ago, and my light bulb kind of turned on back then. I had a want to, and my want to was I wanted to learn, and because they taught in a specific way that met my needs, that opportunity was granted to me. Somebody gave me that gift, and then eventually I was able to earn my way by being the janitor of the school. Most kids don't have that opportunity. If you're just being pushed along and just going through the motions, and then you graduate without being really educated, but rather indoctrinated, that's what a lot of people are really concerned with. A lot of parents are concerned with that. They want to have a little bit more control. And you're involved with the school board. And sometimes the individuals that go to the school boards, they don't feel as though they're being heard.
They definitely haven't over the past couple years. When you were on my show, we talked about it because we were right around our election time. But our school board tried to build a new school. They voted to close one of our 5 elementary schools, much to the anger of many people, especially families.
But they know better than the families, obviously.
In their opinion.
Yep, right.
And so that will be closing at the end of this school year. They wanted to close a second school, South Range Elementary, which was where I went. And they wanted to build a new school on the site of Derry Village, which is the one that's definitely closing this year.
Yep.
And it would have cost, if it had passed, $72 million. Taxes would have went up by $700 a year, every year for 15 years on the school side. And it would have priced many families out of the town.
Right.
And any other family that wanted to move here, they would have gotten scared away by the already high taxes getting even higher.
Right, and individuals that are living in there for years and they're on fixed incomes. Right.
That's another point, yeah. And they came out in full force in that election. The new school got voted down, something like 600 yes to 2,500 no. And we elected 2 new members of the board that were against the new school, Wilbert Danger and Katie DeLay, both of whom are incredibly intelligent people.
Well, that's interesting. A lot of people don't realize, well, we're going to get a new school. Well, yes, that means you're going to get new taxes. And that's just the building. Now, one of the things that is a concern to a lot of the people when they speak to us, why is the cost up to $20,000 a year per student, collectively across the state? And the population is decreasing. As far as the student population is decreasing. So why is the cost going up? What do you think the answer to that is?
I'm not sure.
What is the ratio of administrators versus teachers?
In Derry? I'm not sure. We usually have 1 principal, 1 assistant principal at every school.
Right. Nationwide, what we're seeing on a collective basis is the administration is increasing more and more. So you're getting more counselors.
That was actually a topic because
Right.
the budget also got voted down this election.
Because?
People voted against it because they said no to everything the school board tried doing because so many people were upset about the new school.
Yeah.
And the school board actually demanded, when they were making the cuts, because their budget got voted down, they had to cut some stuff. They demanded that they keep their administrative spots. They refused to cut any, and they cut janitors. They cut some money that would have went to Pinkerton for special ed students.
Right. But not the administrators.
Nope. They kept administrators.
Right. Administrators are not teachers.
Yep.
Right. There's the difference. You need to give the teachers an increase in their salary and cut the administration. And that needs to be across the board, across the state.
Yeah.
You don't need so many people in the administration. You don't. The kids are there to learn. And when I hear stories of teachers going to the schools or going to the stores to buy pencils and stuff like that, they're always needing more money. Well, cut the administration. You don't need it.
Yeah.
And the teachers deserve, I believe, they get a bad rap. I think their hearts are in the right place. They work really hard, and I think they need the raises. And I just think that's a conversation that you need to carry back with you and remember that. It's the administrators that are driving up the costs nationwide. And then, of course, they have pensions too, right?
Yeah.
So The teachers have pensions, and the administrators have pensions, and the administrators, I think, get paid a little bit more than the teachers.
They do.
Right. So that's a big concern. So EFAs, interesting. So you're paying attention to a lot of different issues.
I have watched every single House and Senate session for the past 2 years.
What do you do for fun?
That's my fun.
Do you do any sports or anything?
No, I'm not athletic. Politics is my sport.
How about fishing? You go fishing,
I
skiing?
do. I go fishing. I've been trying to get into golf lately.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Golf's good therapy. How about music? Do you do any kind of music?
No, I don't play anything. I like listening to music, though.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that's in a band.
Yeah.
So I go to
You
the
got a
shows.
friend. That's good. That works. Well, I think you're zoning in on something that you like. And I think if that's where you get your enjoyment out of, that's great. And the fact you're very well spoken, you're paying attention. I think my only suggestion at this point is just definitely keep an open mind.
Yeah.
You have a conservative background. That's excellent. I do too. I really do. But I have learned from my counterparts. You know, and there are some people that way smarter than I am. And there's something very liberating about that. When I can say, you know what, I'm not the smartest person in the room. And there'll be a host of people watching the show that are saying, yeah, I agree with you. Kevin, you're not the smartest guy in the room. But that's also liberating because then I can ask questions without having to feel like I'm an idiot. One of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, the Democrat, Senator Waters, a professor, very well versed on a lot of literature. He serves with me in the Department of Energy. We probably differ on most everything, even on energy, but I still learn a lot from him. I really do. And his interpretation and his perspective on things is definitely different than mine, but I can still learn a lot. And one thing that I've learned also, getting into politics, I'm ready to take a battle. I'm ready to get involved and tell the other side, how wrong they are. That wasn't the right attitude for me. It wasn't the right attitude then, and it's not the right attitude now. It's what can I learn from that person, and how can I make my opinions even stronger and feel better about my convictions. You can always keep your principles. You can always keep your convictions, and work on them. And when you hear the counter to that, if your convictions change, then okay. That doesn't make you a bad person. It means you've learned something. There are some things that you cannot compromise on, and you will never compromise on them. And I have some of those, like at life, things like that. But if you lose the sight of the fact that they're a human being, you've lost your soul.
I agree.
You really have. And I think if you walk in the Capitol, you'll see, I'm going to call them zombies. You'll see individuals that won't look at you because they don't like you just because you're on the other side of the aisle. And I feel bad for them because they can't be my friend. They won't want to be my friend. They won't want to shake my hand. And that's sad. I sit in between two Democrats. We joke. And we're definitely, we're just like opposites on a host of topics. But we could chuckle. That's okay.
Yeah.
I cannot lose sight of the fact that they're human beings. I'm sad for the person that can't look at me the same way. I really am, and you'll see that. I don't know if you've been up to the Capitol, and you'll see people chucking along with Democrat and Republican, just having a good laugh, and then there's some that they won't look at you. That's sad.
Yeah.
Don't become that person. Don't become that person. That's just kind of like a little friendly advice. But always keep to your principles. It doesn't. If somebody says, "Why did you talk to the Democrat?" Oh, I get that a lot. I do, and it's like, what do you mean? Why did I talk to the Democrat? There's a human being first. I feel like I'm an ambassador to the kingdom of God first. And then because I am a Christian, I love the Lord Jesus. I don't always live the most perfect life, but at the same time, I want to be an ambassador to Him first. And His commandment is what? That we should love our neighbor as ourselves.
Yep.
You know, not trying to lecture you. You came on my show, but I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing, you know, what you're doing. I think it shows there's hope for the future, and you probably have a calling, you know, and we all have a calling. We all, you know, if this is where you feel like you're serving your best, you enjoy it, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go to church?
I do.
Yeah. What church you go to?
Gate City Church. Same one as you.
I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, actually, I was surprised. I saw you at church.
My grandfather was one of the original people to go there when Pastor Paul went there. My grandfather worked at the post office with Pastor Paul.
Really?
And that's how they met. And, you know, they became friends, and Pastor Paul invited him when he was just starting.
Interesting, yeah. So
My
you've seen the
family's
growth.
gone there since the beginning.
Wow. Yeah, so you travel all the way from Derry.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. It's a good church. I think it's well-rounded, good teaching, good line by line, precept by precept.
Bible first.
Bible first, yeah. And love your neighbor, you know. So any final thoughts?
Couple things I'll say. You can watch my show on YouTube. I already said the title. You can go
Yep.
back and see the title. One thing I actually haven't told you about yet, so this will be news to you. Me and a couple of my friends have started New Hampshire High School Republicans.
Oh.
We're the first high school auxiliary for Republicans in the state of New Hampshire. If you want to join, if you're in high school, or if you have a child or know someone who's in high school that would be interested, my number is 603-260-2568. Shoot me a text or call me. I'll be happy to get them involved.
Is there a website?
Not yet.
Okay.
We just started a few weeks ago.
So what's the number, slowly?
603-260-2568.
All right, and your name is?
Anthony Henry from Derry.
Derry, all right. Anthony, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for your service and what you're doing right now.
Thank you for your service.
All right, and if you like the show, thank you. We appreciate you watching the show. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. It helps us with our algorithms. Until then, thanks for watching Speaking with the Senator.